So I've been getting a check engine light here. You see on the left side, right underneath the temperature gauge. And so what I'm gonna do is use this Moto Power OBD2 sensor. And what that does is it has a OBD2 plug, which is located right underneath the steering wheel, close to the firewall. So you can see it there. And I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in. So you pretty much just match, and it should just hook on pretty easily. Just kind of plugs right in. Now I'm gonna run an OBD2 check. So use these arrows. And then in a few seconds it should tell me what's going on with the car. I looked at this earlier, and it's P0139, which is the oxygen sensor, the secondary oxygen sensor, which is right behind the cat, or right on the cat in the second hole there. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. What I like about this OBD2 sensor is it also has this view freeze frame. And it'll bring up, the area code, P0139. And it'll just kind of tell me very specific metrics on it. So I just picked up a NTK made by NGK, secondary O2 sensor, which you see here. And what I'm going to do is just kind of crawl down to that cat there, take off the previous O2 sensor and just replace it with a new one. At the same time, I think I'm also going to put some anti-seize here, so the next time I take it off, it'll be really easy. Alright, so this is the anti-seize here. It just goes around the thread, so it just prevents things from kind of getting tight or just kind of locking up from the rust. And then the way we're going to take it off is, I didn't show you guys last time, but I used this kind of oxygen sensor wrench, which kind of has this kind of opening here for the wire. And we have this breaker bar, just kind of break it loose. So let me just put this here. We'll go ahead and head down there, and you guys can see what I see. So we have the primary O2 sensor here, and I kind of replaced that last time. You can see as it leads up here, and then we have this secondary O2 sensor. Looks like it's connected by a 10mm wrench, so I'm gonna have to pull that out. Actually, it's actually just pulled out from the zip tie here, which is fine. I think it usually just clips in there, but the person put it as a tie just to keep it more secure. And then the other thing is we have the new O2 sensor, which is hooked up firmly here, and then this one, I kind of loosened it last time, but I think I loosened it last time. But we'll have to pull this one out, and then basically use the socket to kind of get that going there. So I'm gonna put the phone down. You might not be able to see anything, but we'll see. I'm just gonna try to loosen it here, but we'll see if it comes apart. It does. So as you can see there, it just kind of pulls apart, and we'll wrap it. Keep it there for now, but we're gonna have to take this out. And this O2 sensor socket will fit right in there. It's actually pretty tight, so let's see if it actually fits in there, kind of right up against. Uh-oh, we might not be able to use it. Okay, we'll probably just have to use kind of an open wrench, which is fine. We used a socket earlier for the primary O2 sensor. You see how it fits in there with the wire, but with this one, we'll just probably have to use like, this is probably not going to work. If it doesn't work, I'll just have to abort. But you use an open wrench, just try to kind of loosen up this here. And it's not working. Oh, it is working. Well, that's good, guys. I was able to loosen this up with the open wrench. So we're going to take this out and kind of see what's going on. All right. I don't know what that is, guys. You think that's a defouler? This is a little different from my O2, and that's probably why it wasn't fitting initially. Every time I work on this car, there's like something more interesting to look at. But new O2 sensor, old one. I'm gonna just put this aside, but looks like I was able to get it loose. And I'll take off this plastic piece here with the little washer. Gonna get the anti-seize. I had taken off, put on a glove before just so I can get that anti-seize on the glove. That's still coming out. Let's close it up. What I like to do is I just put it around the thread here, and then inside of it as well. We'll take the glove off, put our mechanics glove back on, just wipe it off a little bit more, and then I'm just gonna put it back here. So you can see it fits a little bit better, which allows us to use that oxygen that O2 socket. So I'm just gonna spin it back. And then now I can actually fit the real O2 sensor socket on there. So it looks like the previous owner had some type of modification, which is causing me not be able to put that normally on. And then I am just gonna slide it back on if I can. Hard putting that breaker on there. There's really not much room. But the good news is, with this type of socket, even if you can't get it through, you notice the you can use an open wrench on top of it, which still allow you to spin it through. So I'll put it back, and then what I'll do is I'll kind of use that open wrench on top, and that'll allow me to tighten the O2 sensor kind of back on. Yeah, I can feel it getting tighter. I'm just gonna hand tighten it. I think it, when I was reading the manual, it's like 32 pounds, but you can feel it out. So that feels like it. We have some anti-seize, so it won't have any of those issues. We're gonna snap this back in. There's like a little rubber piece that goes onto that. And then there's also this little white clip here that was also broken. What we're gonna do is take off the white clip first, using some pliers and just kind of forcing it out. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Going up a little bit more. See, I just ripped that out. And then now, NTK has a really nice O2 sensor. Now we can just snap it back in to give us a clip that's already on there. It's in. And then last but not least, we just snap this back into the O2 sensor electrical plug. And before I do that, I'm gonna come back with another lubricant that is useful. All right, I'm back. And what I got was this dielectric grease. And what I'm going to do is put it between the connections, especially because this is underneath the car. It's going to get a lot of dirt and debris. And it, will kind of prevent corrosion. And so this will stop it from doing that. So what I'm just going to do is just apply a little bit in the seal here. And then put some more dielectric grease right in the other connector. And what we're going to do is just connect them together at this point. Not sure if you can see it, but what I'm doing is I'm matching them up and just going to press firmly. You can hear that snap. And the last thing you do is just kind of hook it back up to it. Might just kind of leave it out. It's already on pretty sturdy. And so you kind of just leave those together there. It's already being held on pretty tightly by these two clips. Yeah. And so let me grab the phone again. So I have the two O2 sensors connected back. We have the primary O2 sensor here, brand new Denso one. Then we have the NTK secondary O2 sensor. It gives you the rubber boot as well as this clip. So when you're taking off the old one, you don't have to worry about kind of messing that up. It has these wire protectors. We put dielectric grease on. We also put anti-seize and then torqued it back into it. Now, if you're taking off one and this has this kind of, it's not really a OEM one, it's going to be difficult, but you can use an open wrench and to pull it out, and then you can either use a breaker bar or an open wrench. Lets you grab onto these and just kind of connect into the O2 sensor and the catalytic converter. Okay, see how it slides into the cat converter hole, and then it has this kind of opening here to prevent kind of the fraying of the wire, and it is able to grab kind of that hex there. So that's the end of the install, and most likely this will get rid of that check engine code P0139 as well as make the car run a lot more efficiently. So we changed the O2 sensor, the secondary O2 sensor. Now we're warming up the car, and we're going to rev it to 3,000 consistently just to check the voltage. We just ran the check engine, and there is no more codes on the OBD2. So we're going to read live data, keep it at 3,000 for a consistent 2 minutes, and from there, sorry, my hand's shaking because I have a brace on it right now. But we're gonna just monitor that secondary O2 sensor, which is over here, below it's highlighted, and we're just gonna see it oscillate for 2 minutes at 3,000, just kind of watch that voltage.